whatever your comfortable prayer position is. I like to get both my feet on the floor so I feel fully grounded. Helps me sit up a little bit taller and focus within, releasing ourselves into this moment right here, right now, regardless of what has gone on yesterday, the day before, or even right before this moment. We are now here in the now, celebrating our truth, moving forward into this service, claiming it good in advance, letting it be well, so that we let it be so, and then we easily affirm, and so it is, and amen. All right, the service is going to be a little different than what's on the order of service today, so just enjoy the ride. It's a special service. I'm excited about it, and we're going to invite you all to stand up to sing the call to worship song if you want, and Maria and Nick are going to come up and do it. Do you want this mic? Oh, there you go. There you go.
Nick's going to jump in and do a little harmony with me. So, if you choose to, I invite you to stand and join me in singing For the Last Sunday, It's in Every One of Us. And Nick's going to do a little intro, so we won't come in until the second chorus. It's in every one of us to be wise. Find your heart, open up both your eyes. We can all know everything without ever knowing why. It's in every one of us by and by. It's in every one of us. I just remember it's like I've been sleeping for years. I'm not awake as I can be, but my sing is better. I can sing through the tears. And it's me realizing that I bought this ticket and watching only half of the show. There's scenery and lights and a cast of thousands who all know what I know. And it's good that it's so. It's in every one of us to be wise. Find your heart, open up both your eyes. It's in all know everything without ever knowing why. It's in every one of us by and by. It's in every one of us by and by. Yoo-hoo. Thank you. And the beautiful Miss Trudy.
Hi, good morning, everybody. I'm your worship assistant this morning, Trudy Tobias, because I see there's some new folks here. And I want to say good morning and welcome home. And for those of you who are new, I hope you will find it as your home, as so many of us have done. I'm going to ask all of you to repeat something after me. And if you're watching virtually, please type this in the comments. Also, when I ask you to do this, remember that all of us, as Maria just sang, have the divine within us. So, good morning. Turn to a neighbor and say, I love you this morning. And I sure do appreciate you being here. And to our virtual church family, please know that we're saying this to you as well. And help us to grow this loving, thriving community by liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing to our pages. So I'm going to now ask you to repeat some affirmations. Not repeat, we're going to do them together. They're in your bulletin and they're also up on the screen. And I have to just tell you, I did a presentation for a women's group Wednesday, and I used these affirmations as part of it. Because it was on intuition, it was like, perfect. Okay, my power of wisdom gives me unique insight when making my best decisions. I have the power and intuition to spring forth with new ideas and new life. And now I will turn it over to our lovely minister.
All right, this is where we go off script on that order of services you have. So today is a special service that we're calling Unity Changed My Life. And so the question comes in on why are we here? Not like on the planet. We can get into that conversation at another time. But like, why do we come here? And to church? And it's because of that like-mindedness that then that helps others, right? But it also, just by like recognizing the truth, it gives us that pick-me-up to move forward in more ways and helpful ways. And like you hear it once and you're like, oh yes, I recognize that. I know that to be true. So I'm good for life. You're good for maybe 5 minutes, right? So, like if we do this well, you're good for a good solid hour, right? And maybe you can get through lunch. Maybe, like depends on who pulls in front of you between here and the restaurant. But so this is about like really recognizing, like traditional church would probably call this Testimony Sunday. And it is a bit of a testimony, but it's about acknowledging that truth and hearing it from various different perspectives. Like I can say for myself, when I walked into the church in Los Angeles and started hearing this information and like hearing how other people used it, it helped me in many ways. It literally changed my life. It certainly changed the trajectory of my life. I moved to Los Angeles to be a movie star, which I am in a movie that opened this past weekend. And came home a minister instead. But so the story I really want to tell you more than my own personal story is a story that Gene Armstrong had shared with me year before last. And I had and really it was that story that set doing this service today. And I had planned to record Gene telling the story, but I was already trying to figure out like who I was going to get to edit it because I knew Gene's version was going to be much longer than right? But so I planned this before I even knew that Gene had hospice coming in, right? So, and I talked to Liz, and I know she's watching us because she was excited that we were going to share the story. So, for those of you who don't know who Gene Armstrong is, he's one of the founders of this church. So this church is here because of him and a collection of other people, and the collection of all the people who have kept it going all these years afterwards. But from the budding of this place, he's one of those people. Gene was an architect and did like shopping centers and big things, and he was working, I don't even know exactly what year, a long time ago, maybe early to mid 80s, early 80s. He was working on this big housing development. They had been working on this for a year. It was like a big deal. His entire career had been focused on this one project. And suddenly something happened and it just got canceled. Like no warning, no, we're going to do part of it. Like this thing that you thought you were going to feed your family with, it's done, not happening. And it affected him so much that he had decided to end his life. And he is somewhere in Virginia, and he's pulled the car onto a train track just waiting on the train now, but he's got the radio on, and a Unity radio broadcast comes on. And he starts hearing information that he had never heard before. He started hearing things about life and spirituality in perspectives he had never heard before. And he turned the car back on, drove home, woke Liz up in the middle of the night, and he's like, yeah, so I was on the train track, I was about to kill myself, and then I heard this information that you've got to hear. And she's like, wait, you were what? Right? But he said, you've got to hear this information, Liz. You've got to hear this information. She said, well, let's do something with it. And that's really like that spark that not only literally changed his life, it saved his life. It then was a spark that we are all benefiting from today. And so you don't have to get to the place of being on a train track until you're ready to change your life, right? But I mean, what a powerful story. And people who have known Gene way longer than me never heard that story. I've had several people be like, oh, I never knew that. But I wasn't on a train track, and it changed my life. And what I learned was I knew that I kept hearing from multiple people that when people walked in and heard this teaching, that they were like, oh, I never heard it put that way before. Oh, well, this gives me new perspective on this. One of the big things it did for me is it took away my need to defend. Right? So I say this about spirituality, but I realize I really use it across the board in life. I will have a conversation with you about spirituality all day long. With someone who thinks differently. We'll talk about our different beliefs and how we use that, and may disagree with each other on how we use it. I'll have that conversation all day long. What I will not do is debate and defend my spirituality. And then from there, I won't really debate and defend much about who I am and what my truth is, because what I learned through this teaching, and really from Delarice, her attitude really, is that I don't need you to be right or wrong to determine if I'm right for me. And I got that from Unity and Unity principles. And so we're going to have several other stories coming up today of how these principles and these teachings changed multiple people's lives. And if some of you who haven't asked to speak today have stories that they're like, oh, they should have asked me, let me know. We'll do these again, or we'll find other ways to share them. So, let's celebrate all this together. I say often that I think that being like-minded people in the same room together is just uniquely special, and I'm looking forward to hearing these other stories today. And with that, I'm going to invite Bobby up to share his story.
Good morning, everyone. Yeah, we're going to do this little timer thing too. So the big question, why do I come to Unity almost every Sunday? Little backstory, how did I get to Unity? A friend told us we should attend this Unity New Year's Eve party. Not burning bowl, not Sunday service, but the party. So we went to the party, we did go to burning bowl ceremony, and we did go to Sunday service. And then 6 weeks later, I got diagnosed with cancer. So, and I just kept coming, Sunday services. Charles and Myrtle Fillmore, they really resonated with me. I had no spiritual practice. I've been 30 years, no church. I stepped inside a church a couple times, no desire to go back or do anything with it. I'd seen a little bit of 12-step program stuff. I kind of liked that. But this is what really resonates with me. I was enjoying the metaphysical meanings of the Bible stories, meditations, being grateful. Unity was a little different place at the time, a little bigger. We had a band, really. And they brought in a few more stories from other different kind of spiritual people. So this all really resonated with me. And I just found myself needing to be at Unity every week that year. I went through a chemo round, and every week I was here, It's surgery. I was out Sunday. I went for surgery Monday morning. I was in the hospital for 12 days. I was back here that next Sunday, that other Sunday. I just couldn't miss it. And all these things played hard into my life onto what to do and how to work with myself to keep my head straight regardless of what my outcome might have been. I was exercising, diet, and unity. So where was I? I got lost there for a second. Oh, divine order. And then I learned about how things happen in divine order. On the way to the hospital, Susie brought me this egg bar button. Everything's going to be all right. On the way to the hospital Monday morning, somewhere around Burlington, there was a song, Everything's Going to Be All Right by Paul Thorne. We were both just like jaw dropped. It was amazing. And then I looked back at my work career, actually from high school, my decision to join the Navy, which a job found me after the Navy. I wasn't even looking. I was thinking about going back to school. And that took me to Tucson where I met Suzanne. And then 3 years later, ended up in Wisconsin. Northwest said, we're getting rid of as many union people as we can. And a guy that hires people down here, he was talking to some random guy in the engine shop. And he said, you know what, Jeff Roberts? Jeff was sitting right there. And this guy here, Jeff and me, we all worked together back in Tucson, Arizona, 18 years before. And we packed up the house in Wisconsin, never thought I'd ever leave there. And we're here. And then also, the first surgeon I met, all my doctor stuff was easy down here. If I would have had to done that in Wisconsin, I would have had hour drives everywhere because the only hospital we had nearby was a baby hospital. And so that really worked well. We went and saw the first surgeon. He barely acknowledged Suzanne in the room. She didn't like him. And in hindsight, that was huge because he would have cut me open to do the surgery. We ended up going to Duke, and you don't want an old school cancer doctor. You want new school cancer treatments. Remember that. And I think that was a big difference in my recovery. But these were all things that happened in divine order that you don't, 30 years back looking now, and I see everything falling, all the dominoes falling in place, so I can be here 11 years later. And so unity, I kept going. 2 years were wonderful, and then things got crazy. I'm not even going to go into any of that. There's a lot of that I kind of just ignored because I didn't see no sense in hashing through all this other stuff. But I kept going. I kept coming. I still love the unity message. We had lots of people coming and going and telling good stories. They were there for us, trying to make our lives better. They knew our situation, and they still came for us. Musicians, we got to see a lot of good musicians over the years. And there was only one time I was like, this is kind of borderline now. Anita was up singing at the Girl Scout Center, and the Reverend there shushed her. I was like, oh my God. Because you know Anita, if you give her a microphone, she's going to blurt something off script. It's just going to happen. It's what you expect from Anita. But he was a temporary minister, and he was shortly going to be leaving anyway. But that was like my only horrific day in unity. And then I get to the past couple years, I've gotten to be a chaperone, sponsor for the Unity kids, taking them down. That's a wonderful experience for me because I've never had kids of my own, so I get to see all these kids, and they're so wonderful. If anyone can do that, that's just something to go witness. It's an awesome thing to go witness. And to this day, I still love unity. I still come to keep the doors open anyway if I can. And that's all I got today. I'm a minute and a half, 2 minutes over.
When the rain is blowing in your face and the whole world is on your case, I could offer you a warm embrace to make you feel my love. When the evening shadows and the stars appear and there is no one there to dry your tears, I could hold you for a million years to make you feel my love. I know you haven't made your mind up yet, but I would never do you wrong. I've known it from the moment that we met. No doubt in my mind where you belong. I go hungry, I go black and blue. I go crawling down the avenue. No, there's nothing that I wouldn't do to make you feel my love. The storms are raging on the rolling sea and on the highway of love. Through the winds of change are rolling wild and free. You ain't seen nothing like me yet. I could make you happy, make your dreams come true. Nothing that I wouldn't do. Go to the ends of the earth for you to make you feel my love. To make you feel my love.
Wow, what a beautiful voice. Thank you so much for sharing with us. So, let me see. So, I'm Candy Bartling Connor, and I'm the prayer chaplain on duty today. So, no matter what you are growing through, our chaplain team wants to pray with you about it. You can seek one of us out after the service today, and if you want to raise your hand if you're a prayer chaplain, We're here, I'm here for you. To be included on our prayer list, you can fill out a form and put it in the prayer box right here. Thanks, Nana, for bringing it up for us. Or you can click the prayer request button on our website. And I also want to let you know that there is a new app from Unity called b.unity.org. And that's a really easy way to access Silent Unity and other Unity resources anytime and anywhere. b.unity.org. Prayer works, so let's do it together now. I invite you to think of someone or something you'd like to send some love to as we pray together. Let's begin by focusing our breath. We breathe in trust and awareness of the divine. We breathe out fear and doubt. And continue that process of breathing in and out as we pray together. Filled with the wisdom of divine spirit, I feel the healing love flowing through me now, bringing peace to my mind and energy to my body. And folded in this powerful, healing love, I experience health and wholeness in mind, body, and emotions. And from this sacred space of divine consciousness, we now envision a loved one who may be struggling. Speak that person's name aloud or silently. We enfold that person in powerful, healing love, affirming their health and wholeness in mind, body, and emotions. I will now read the names of those in our church family who have requested our prayers. And as I do, let us envision each of them enfolded in powerful love. And I'm also going to include the prayer requests in our prayer box. So we send powerful healing love to Liz Armstrong, Sarah Henning, Bo Tureen, Linda Cohen, Pat Hauser, and Neil Whitmire. Together we affirm their health and wholeness in mind, body, and emotions. We are standing with them, knowing that God is already actively working in partnership with each of them to grow through the appearance of challenges. We acknowledge that all shall be well, and all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well. And for our perfect wholeness and health, we are grateful. In the name and nature of Christ, so it is. Thank you so much. And feel free, if you have a prayer request, to add it to the prayer box. At this time, we're going to have a meditation. So I invite you to join me in that. We're going to start just by relaxing. We're sort of in that relaxed state. So we're going to continue to breathe deeply, knowing that you are in the presence of God and that the presence of God is within you. And as you've been doing since the service began, let go of your struggles and concerns and know that all is well. And remember the scripture, John 4:18. Fear is cast out by perfect love. I invite you, as you're comfortable, to close your eyes and release any fears and concerns of the world around you. Begin instead to focus on God and about God's presence within you. And I'm going to read some short scriptural passages that you can focus on if it might be helpful to you. Isaiah 41:10 says, "Do not be afraid, I am with you." Isaiah 3:10 says, "All will be well." Malachi 3:6 says, "I, your Lord, do not change." And Psalm 46:10 says, "Be still and know that I am God." So whatever your connectedness with God is, the God light within you, focus on that. Allow that awareness of spirit to refocus or replace any apprehension you may be feeling. Continue your breathing and focus your mind on this thought or this scripture, repeating it until it becomes your only thought. And now allow this focused state of mind to move you into a deeper awareness of God, the divine within you. Be still as you connect with this divine presence. From this place, this sacred place, feel that you are one with God, that you are one with all. This knowing, this realization as you experience God's holy presence is silent soul communion. In this receptive state of mind and heart, listen for the inspiration of God, the peace and wisdom you may seek. And as we return our awareness to this time and this place, we bring with us the peace of realizing that we are never separate from God. Rather, faith serves to open up a channel in our soul for the reception of all good that God has prepared for us. as you're comfortable, open your eyes and let gratitude be your heart's joyous response to this experience of communion with God and with God's infinite goodness. We give thanks for blessings to come, ready to receive all good things, and to go forth and do what is ours to do. And so it is.
Good morning. My name is Miranda Baker, and I'm the youth director. My Unity story began at age 3. My mom was invited to attend a Unity by a coworker. It took her 3 months after that visit to figure out what was so different. And it was that she left feeling good about herself. After that, she was hooked. And so I got to grow up in Unity. Now, fast forward to high school. In Unity, we have a specific high school program, Youth of Unity, also known as YOU, and it's youth-led. Now, I was at Unity North Atlanta, and we had a big YOU group, 20 to 30 teens every Sunday. We had our own officers, elected officials. We had our own prayer chaplains. The adults in the room were just there to make sure fuzzy things didn't get put in the microwave. That was an actual rule. I don't want to know why that was a rule. But the cool thing about that group is once I got into YOU, you see, I was painfully shy as a kid. Painfully, afraid to talk to people, hid behind my mother for the first few years of my life if I encountered an individual I didn't know. When I got into YOU, the welcoming environment was so empowering that I decided to stop being shy. Like 3 weeks in, I don't want to be shy anymore. If only I'd known then. That group, the people in the group, the adults, the teens, empowered me to try leading. And because of that, by the time I graduated high school, I had held just about every leadership position that was possible, including regional representative and international representative. And that's coming from the shy little 14-year-old to 18 years old. Those people, those principles that I learned in those 4 years changed the rest of my life. During that time, I figured out who I was, figured out how to lead, but I also learned that I had control over myself, my thoughts, my beliefs, my actions. And when you're a teenager, kind of feels like everybody else has control. So that was very powerful to me. I learned how to manifest, how to use the law of mind action to create my experience. I learned how to take advantage of my opportunities using that 5th principle, and found myself graduating YOU inspired to create the same kind of environment for the next generations of youth. Kind of why I'm in this job. So I graduated YOU. I moved up here, went to college, got involved here at Unity in Greensboro, and started trying to do just that. Now, in the last 10 years, I've faced poverty, near homelessness, my family imploding, and a pandemic. And here I am today in a job I absolutely love. I'm a new homeowner, I'm getting married, and I'm surrounded by people who support me. And I have my mental health. I mean, that's pretty impressive after all that. And I credit all of this to what I learned in Unity. Had I not grown up in Unity, had I not learned these teachings and principles, I kind of shudder to think who I might be. I'd probably be very type A. But unity has really shaped who I am and how I perceive the world around me, how I handle things that come my way, the different challenges that life presents. And that is all thanks to what I've learned here and what I continue to learn here. So, thank you all.
Hello. I'm going to read a poem by James Dillard Freeman, who's a Unity minister, author, and poet. The poem is entitled Change. I have resisted change with all my will, cried out to life, pass by life, and leave me still. But I have found, as I have trudged time's track, that all my wishing will not hold life back. I cannot bid the merest moment stay. So finding I have no power to change, I have changed myself. And this is strange. But I have found when I let change come, the very change that I was fleeing from has often held the good I had prayed for. And I was not the less for change, but more. Once I accepted life and was not loath to change, I found change was the seed of growth.
Thank you so much. I have had a great life. I truly have. And I have so many stories about how unity has impacted that life and how finding unity and how finding meditation has impacted me so positively. But I want to talk to you first about what's most important to me in my life. And Jag, you made me cry this morning. I love that song. That song's important to me. You see, 24 years ago, when I moved my beautiful wife from Washington, D.C. to be with me, we had dated a long distance for a couple years. I played that song for her as we got into the car to make the move here. You made me cry today, Jag. Thank you. I have a great partner. She's a beautiful woman, and she's so loving. She's such a great mom, and she's such a great wife that I really do appreciate her. And I have 3 wonderful children, and I don't know if there's anything more rewarding to a parent than to see your children thriving, loving life for itself, really just enjoying life and attacking life in the way that they are. It just makes me so happy and so proud. Now, professionally, I've had a wonderful career. I've gotten to do important work over my lifetime. I had 31 years in the labor movement, and I helped an awful lot of people in the labor movement. I was a negotiator of multi-billion-dollar labor contracts, and it makes me feel so good that I was able to bring a better quality of life to people, better pay, health insurance, a better retirement for themselves. And over my career in the union, I was able to get more than 100 people into rehab, and that meant so much to me. I grew up with an alcoholic father. I know what the pain of that means to families. And to be able to help more than 100 people, more than 100 families have a second chance at life, that filled my heart. That made me feel good. It was so important to me. Now, I got to be communications director for the Teamsters Union, and that was pretty cool. To have be a nationwide spokesperson for the union, to be on TV, on radio, just regularly. That was pretty cool. Perhaps the best part of my career was when I got the opportunity to work for President Obama. To work for the first black president of the United States was just an exceptional experience. I got to meet such exceptional people who are still part of my life, still helping me, and just to be part of that administration, I just felt so good about that. I tell you these great things about my life to set you up to understand that I had nothing to prepare me for that call that I got last March from my urologist who said, "You have cancer." The big C was now mine to own. It was my turn in the barrel, and I had to deal with it, and it wasn't easy. I wouldn't recommend cancer to anybody, okay? It wasn't good getting through. Wasn't good. And I, in fact, experienced depression for the very first time in my life. Depression. Here's a man who had been optimistic and so outgoing and so loving and caring all his life, and all of a sudden I had depression. And there I was on the couch. Wasn't a good feeling, but I could barely move. Here I am with a 13-year-old son. I don't want my son to see this. I want him to see the strong, optimistic, caring person that I'd always been, but I was on the couch. So I had to deal with it. Now, I saw my physician, of course, and she prescribed medication to me, antidepressant medication. But to tell you the truth, I wasn't real happy about that because, medication, as we do it in the Western culture, it masks the disease. It deals with the symptoms. It covers up the symptoms, doesn't it? So what I wanted to do was to get to the heart of my depression in a way where I wasn't masking the problems, but I was actually dealing with the problems. So I went to a therapist, and I took it seriously, But I was scared at the time. I really was, because like all of you, I've experienced cancer in my family. I had this uncle, great uncle. He was dying in the hospital in Pittsburgh, and I went to see him. He'd always been such a happy, such a fun-loving sort of guy. And of course, I get in there, he started telling jokes once again. But as he was laughing at one of his jokes, he clutched his stomach, he goes, "It hurts when I laugh." Oh, did that kill me? It hurts when I laugh. Imagine. And my own father passed with leukemia, as a matter of fact. So I was afraid. I was afraid of the pain of cancer. I was afraid of the death of cancer. But I knew I had to deal with it. So I got serious about this therapy that I was going through. And I took her seriously as she gave me ideas about things that I could do psychologically, mentally to overcome it. And I worked on it. I really did. But I was not only afraid, I was angry. I told my general physician, I said, "How the hell did this happen to me? I don't smoke, I don't drink, I have this really great diet. I'm very careful about my diet. I exercise all the time." She said, "Chip, I know you're angry about having cancer." But she goes, "But think of it this way." She goes, "I see people all day long with chronic conditions, diabetes, hypertension, they're obese, their heart's giving out." He said, "You don't have any of those problems. You've always been a very healthy person." She goes, "My prediction is you're going to be healthy again. You're going to get through this. You're going to get through your treatments. You're going to be okay." I also went to see Stan Davis down at the Ahom Center. And yeah, I got serious about about getting quiet and about getting to the root of myself. You know what came out of my meditation? "Chip, you're going to be okay. You're going to be okay." So I went through the treatment. It was successful. I'm not allowed to say that I've beat the cancer, my doctor tells me. I can't ring that bell at the cancer center in Greensboro yet, because my urologist says I have to get my PSA test and make sure that I stay out of it for a couple of years. I'm going to ring that bell. I feel great. I told you about how I've been going to the gym an awful lot. I'm reclaiming my body. My son is getting to see me be the vibrant person I've always been. I'm loving my life and my wife more than ever. And I'm excited about life again. I truly am. I started a company recently, as a matter of fact, a minority company that's run by my beautiful black wife. I have to answer to her. That's okay. She's a pretty good boss. But let me give you one example of what I'm working on right now. I have a supplier who can give me charging cords for Androids and for Apple phones, for iPhones, at 30 cents a piece. I don't know about you, but when I bought charging cords, it cost me at least $10. I can get them for 30 cents. My beautiful black wife has created a new relationship with Dollar General and their lead of minority supplying at Dollar General. So what I'm intending to do is to supply their 19,000 stores across America with charging cords at 60 cents. So I'll keep 30 cents for each charging cord that they will sell. Maybe they'll sell them for $1 since they're Dollar General, right? But imagine the money at 19,000 stores, and I get 30 cents a clip out of this. That's only one of that. I'm excited about life again. We're going to have a different discussion about my financial future as I get through this. But I am so thankful to you because you were the most important part of me recovering from my depression and me gaining this excitement that I have about life again. You put me on your prayer list, and you know what? It was palpable. I could feel it. I could feel your caring. I would come in here each Sunday and at the other times. All the hugs I got, all the encouragement I got meant the world to me. You were at the center of how I beat the biggest challenge of my life. And I love you for it, and I'm grateful to have each one of you in my life. Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Jim Sokup. I fell out of a tree cutting my hedge the other day, so I'm a little bit stiff, but I made it up here. Can you hear me? Yes, I think you can. I have 3 minutes, and I'm only going to take 3 minutes. And during that 3 minutes, I'm going to cover prosperity consciousness, moral development, spiritual development, and the future of unity in Greensboro. How's that? 3 minutes. I'm a doctor of neuropsychology. I moved here from Chicago, where I was in practice, and I was a professor at the Adler Institute in their doctoral program. I was, like Mariah, raised in unity. If I had not been raised in unity, I probably would need a therapist, but I are a therapist. I always wanted to become a doctor, and now I are one. And I was a professor and taught psychology at, as I say, the Adler Institute. There are three things in moral growth and spiritual growth, the three areas. One is theology, one is psychology, and one is philosophy. And I'm going to take a minute and tell you about how we develop these things. You can't go in a butcher shop and say, I want 2 pounds of morality. And you can't go into the bakery and say, I would like a loaf of spirituality. These are steps that are taken. And I'm going to take a minute and tell you about moral development. These are steps again. I was a psychometrician, so we measure intelligence, emotional welfare, functioning, and things like that. And in all of these areas, we grow. And the first step, or one of the early steps in moral development, is we are good because we don't want to be punished. The second step, which is a little more advanced, is we give because we expect something in return. Now, the churches of the old-time churches have used those to keep the congregation in line. You go to hell if you aren't good. You won't gain anything unless you contribute to the church. We're beyond that. We're unity. The third step is you are good because you want people to like you and respect you. The fourth step, we're getting up there as far as personal responsibility. The fourth step is I do it because I'm ashamed of myself if I don't do it. And the fifth step is it feels damn good to be generous and to be good. So that covers the psychological part of spiritual development, right, Wally? And I was raised, as I said, in unity. My parents believed in prosperity consciousness and practiced it, and that worked out real good. So the third thing is, what is the future of unity in Greensboro? When I moved here, I continued my membership in Unity. I was on the board of directors for 4 years. When I took over the board, we had $212 in our building fund. When I left, we had $80,000. This is because it feels good to give. Socrates talks about virtue, and one of the 10 virtues of man is being magnanimous. And what a great joy we have now, and what a great challenge we have now, because we have a minister who teaches metaphysical unity principles. We have a very powerful board of directors. We have a growing congregation, and we have an opportunity to give. It's no longer an obligation. You're not obligated to give to unity. You're not obligated to contribute, but it's an opportunity. And I call on all of us to take this opportunity, because in the 6 months we are going to find a new home. And my 3 minutes are almost up, but I would like to say that I would rather walk the walk than talk the walk. So I would like to contribute $5,000 to Unity. Wow. It's over. Okay.
All right, with this time as we prepare to give our love offerings and tithes, I'm going to change things around a little bit. Phoenix, can you come on up? I'm going to have you sing while they collect the love offerings and tithes, because we're supposed to be done with music before 11, so that we don't disturb the other church down the hall. Anyway, so let us say together, you can give electronically. I think there's a little flyer like this. If you give electronically, I invite you to place your hands on your heart. Otherwise, give your loving attention towards the bags as we say this prayer together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I am grateful.
Yeah. Okay. Hello, everyone. I kind of struggled to find a song to sing today because I have a really bad problem with committing to stuff way in advance, and then it comes up and I'm like, oh God. But, you know, I did what any 16-year-old would do, and I pulled out my phone, and I looked at my Spotify playlist, and I found this song. It's by Sam Phillips. It's called Reflecting Light. I love this song very deeply. I've known it for some years. I heard it on Gilmore Girls. I love that show. Anyway, it's called Reflecting Light, and it's all about, I'm not entirely sure what it's about. You can listen to the lyrics and decide what it's about to you. Thank you. Now that I've worn out the world, I'm on my knees in fascination, looking through the night, and the moon's never seen me before, but I'm reflecting light. I wrote the pain down, got off and looked up. No. Looked into the night, the lost open windows all around. My dark heart lit up the sky. And now that I've worn out the world, I'm on my knees in fascination, looking through the night, and the moon's never seen me before, but I'm reflecting light. Give up the ground nothing for good. Turn and run at the mean dogs chasing you. Stand alone and misunderstood. Oh, but now that I've worn out the world, I'm on my knees in fascination, looking through the night, and the moon's never seen me before. No. But I'm reflecting light, and the moon's never seen me before. Oh, sorry. And the moon's never, the moon's never seen me before. But I'm reflecting light. I'm sorry, you guys, I got a little bit nervous. I'm not used to performing, but thank you all so much.
All right, we're just taking this time to invite you to place your hands forward, extending and giving thanks for these love offerings and tithes and gifts as we move forward together, recognizing that we have that here in financial abundance as well as in the energy that is in this room that is manifesting and drawing forth all good things. We let that be well, we let it be so, and so it is. Amen. And we'll invite Trudy up to give us some announcements.
Thank you. As usual, it's good the singing is over when I get up here. So, anyhow, if you are a first-time visitor or haven't been here in a long time and you've received a welcome bag, please fill out the visitor connection card. We really want to stay connected with you. And if you haven't received a bag, please raise your hand and we'll get one to you. We have a little gift there. We are creating a new home team to prepare in advance. Since this building is now for sale. So we would like a couple of congregants to join members from the board and the prosperity team. This team will be setting up a meeting very soon. And if you're willing to serve on this team, we need to hear from you today by seeing Ellie McFalls. Okay, thank you. Okay, teen night. Teens are invited to join us outside on the Walker Avenue side at 6:30 this Wednesday, May 3rd, for our cornhole tournament, outdoor games and snacks. And you guys have heard from a couple of our teens, and you know how awesome our teen group is. And then I want to encourage you to check the table in the back for sign-up sheets for other upcoming activities. Because we share the space with another church, we don't get to congregate and chit-chat like we used to. So now we are coming out of COVID and offering fun activities for us to get together. And I want you to know that last Friday night, we had game night at my house. And those of us who didn't let the rain discourage us had a great time. I also want you to know that a friend of mine from college knew I was setting up for it. And he texted me, he said, "How was game night? Did you win?" And I responded, "It was non-competitive, we had a great time, and we were all winners." So I want you just to remember that and sign up for our activities. Thank you so much. Oh, sorry.
All right. Thank you all for being here today. I hope that you enjoyed it as much as I did in hearing all the different perspectives and the way we can. Like, oh, he should know my story. I want to know it. So let's take this time to feel that gratitude and use that gratitude. And I will say an announcement that didn't make it in here. I briefly said it before. I've been on TV plenty of times. I've been in movies, but the movies I was in were like festival movies. So this weekend is the first time I've ever been in a movie that has a nationwide release, that I'm in theaters across the country. I'm in it for maybe 60 seconds. So when they get to Christmas, don't blink. But anyway, we are, as a group, going to go see it, a matinee on Saturday, May 20th. It will be the week before we'll know exactly what times they're offering it. So if you want to come with us to that, and then we'll find somewhere to go sit and talk about it afterwards. I'm 60 seconds about the movie. So sign up in the back for that as well. Okay, and on that new home team, look, if you want to participate in that, now is the time. I found out this past week that they've signed a letter of intent that they'll know possibly by the end of July if they're new owners of this building. And at that point, we're on a month-to-month contract. So it is time for us to prepare and make some real decisions. So if you want to participate in that, now is the time. So it's no longer really prepping in advance all that much. Okay, let us take this time to say our prayer for protection. I invite you to stand. If you'd like to hold hands, do so. If you'd rather not, I invite you to place your hands in a prayerful position in the air, and let us say this together. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, love is, peace is, light is, God is, and all is well. Go have a great week on purpose.